Front Street and East Street, north to the corner of Front Street and Third Street, thence east to the corner of Third Street and Oak Street, thence south to the corner of Oak Street and East Street, thence west to corner of beginning as shown on the attached map, which you also have in front of you. That perimeter is highlighted in orange. And the Fall Fest vendor area is highlighted in yellow on Pine Street and Second, right? Yes. Okay. So I heard back from the city attorney, who referred to a section of state law 7-5- two sections, 7-5-103, which outlines the requirements for creating ordinances, and 7-5-121, outlining requirements for resolutions. When Ed and I spoke, his general opinion was that council should not interfere with business, should not favor one business over another. And it is his recommendation that no actions are taken against the existing solicitor license holders or even suspending the sale of the licenses. When I looked at that law, I had a follow-up question for him because he did not include the entirety of the law. Section 7-5-103, subsection 7, as used in this section, private business means an individual or entity that is not principally a part of or associated with a government unit, and that has an established physical location within the boundaries of the county or municipality. The term includes but is not limited to a nonprofit or for-profit entity, a corporation, a sole proprietorship, or a limited liability company. Basically, Ed was applying the don't interfere with business concept to any business operating within the city limits. The statute itself identifies businesses with an established physical location. So within that, he acknowledged that there was a distinction and said, I should have mentioned my citation to the limitations municipalities have regarding businesses is to point out the general prohibitions against favoring one business over another. He believes it's a risk to favor a business over another, but that my assessment was right. The types of business we're talking about here appear to fall outside the statutes. Okay, so that is what I would say led to an expansion here to say that in this resolution, the council would not issue any annual solicitor's licenses from now through October 6th. Okay. And that for that week prior to, or 6 days probably, September 29th through October 6th, City Council would suspend the issuance of 4-day solicitor's licenses, which means that we would have solicitors who currently hold annual licenses. Okay, and I believe there are 6 of them, or so. The temporary location restriction is in this proposed resolution because it was there last year for no other reason. And now council questions.
I have a question there. Why did the Oberts bring up an issue about a open allowed a vendor with a grease could potentially get on the expensive cars. If that drawing would have pushed them clear back almost to Fourth Street.
Angie, do you have?
Yeah, I think that they're talking about car show,
Right.
and this is solely
This is only for
for the
the
Heritage
Heritage Park
Park,
part.
right? So if it's warm and they have a really great car turnout, I mean, that it can go all the way down to, what did they say? Walnut?
Yeah, it can be
Cherry?
fixed there.
The street closure's been approved to charity.
To charity, yeah. So, I mean, that would be outside of this boundary, which would then open up for the situation that happened to them last year with the,
Well, they should figure out how to use the boundary for their car show within this boundary.
well, that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah,
because
that's-
it's
It's
not
not hard to do. It's not hard to do. It's just they want to have excuses and they don't
Cars have
want
a
to change
fixed
anything.
size. If there's too many cars, you're turning in as a license.
Last year was a really good turnout for car show. They had a lot of cars here this year.
To keep the peace, I don't want to object about anything that's been presented, other than to add to it, that if the car show pushes further east than Oak Street, that the limitation is only to the alley on each side. So it's a half block pushback. That's Sunday. Does the description make sense, what I just said?
Yeah, so the,
I
ones that have
expect-
annual permits, the 6 of them, they couldn't come any further than the alley.
Right, they'd have to basically move back onto this, back further on the streets, away from the car show. They couldn't be close enough to harm any car, they couldn't be close enough to interfere with traffic.
That was beyond Oak Street.
If the car show pushes further east than Oak Street, then on Sunday, the exclusion area extends a half a block north and south from Broadway to the alleys.
Through Cherry.
As far east as is necessary, depending on the number of cars that come in. That's something we need to consider in the future, is a little flexibility so that car show can be as big as it wants.
117 last year, and they turned it back.
And honestly, people love the car show.
Say that again. Angie.
Does that, would that,
It would exclude the alley, which we already prohibit anybody from parking in anyway by law.
right, I just want to make sure, because I know that the gentleman that's in charge of the car show made the comment that he was concerned about lines blocking the cars in the car show.
Lines.
Lines to
Lines.
lines
So
to
now, if they're further
vendors.
back in the alleys, I should think that's a minimal problem. That's a long line.
Okay. Now, the verbiage too.
The verbiage is regrettably a little complicated because of the necessary flexibility for the show. And it might be worth a 0.5 on the resolution.
Do cars pre-register?
That more.
So that morning, yeah.
Online and that morning, so and then the day of.
It's, personally, I have no objection on Sunday with closing that road as far east as it has to go for the car show. It's a low-density day. It's great advertising for the city. I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that there's a balance between protecting the show and permitting the operation of business.
That'd be October 5th, right? That's the Sunday.
Yeah. Vivian, I kind of trowed you a little bit. Do you have an opinion that
No,
I not let you figure out?
I
I just wanted to make sure
mentioned
you
something
guys-
about that with the car show extending all that way last time, and also mentioned that they could use the school parking lot, they could use the parking lot behind,
You mean to place cars?
yeah. Why not? The streets are closed off over there anyways.
I need to contact somebody
It
who
wouldn't-
would allow multiple locations.
Yeah. I know.
That's just my opinion.
It certainly wouldn't be as convenient, having to walk a distance to get to more cars.
From parking down there at whatever auto body just to get to the damn fall fest. So,
What's the negative? What's the reason for not letting it expand along Broadway?
I mean, you can. I don't have, you can do it either way. Not for the entirety of the
Well, just with car show.
thing, but just for the car show that day.
It would have a requirement, Doug, that the access for emergency services on Cedar, that would have to be kept clear.
Well, the ambulance,
The
you know,
ambulance exit.
they come out of the ambulance car.
But if I recall correctly, you usually do that anyway.
The fire wouldn't be going that way unless they're fire,
A fire emergency.
like a card or building for something, and then that's just gonna be like, I think people will get out.
How about this? A number 5, either further or additional, or anyway, temporary or just put the date in there, temporary location restriction, October 5, 2025. In addition to the area described in temporary location restriction number 4, solicitors with valid licenses not approved for participation, all that verbiage again, shall not set up temporary business site within half block of Broadway north and south from Oak Street to Cherry Street.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That'll get interpreted as a little bit beyond the alleys, but I don't think that's a big deal.